So we have the Minkowski's space-time diagram. So first I use the convention here, the positive, negative, negative, and negative, positive, positive, positive. So for example, here, the convention used here is positive. We have the negative, negative, and negative here. For example, we have the negative z squared. We have the time-like region. It refers to the inside the cone here. Now, above the origin here, above refers to the future events. Then we have the present here at the center. We have the present here and now. And we have the space-like region here. It refers to the uh, lines uh, outside the cone here. Then we have the past light cone here. So this one is the past light cone. And we have the future light cone here. Now it's space-like region here outside the cone. For example, here we have the space-like regions here. This is outside the cone here. So inside the cone here, we have the time-like region here, or this is also the future light cone. And the vertical axis here refers to the CT, speed of light times the time. And we have the time-like regions here. So this is the past light cone. So we have the future light cone here, and we have the time-like inside the cone. And the null set here refers to the speed of the light. So this is the null set line, this one. So we have the present here at the center, this one. And we have the past light cone here. We have the mathematical simulations. For example, here, we have the event P here. And the event position X here is equal to negative 0.2. And the event time here is equal to 3. So this is the X component, and we have the time component here equal to 3. So this is the time-like event. This is inside the cone here. So we have the cone here. This is this orange dotted line is null set. This is a null line. It refers to the speed of the light here. Then inside the cone here refers to the speed less than the speed of light. Then outside here we have a region where the speed of light must be greater than 3 times 10 to the 8 meters per second squared. We have an example here. So we are going to use the negative, positive, positive convention here. So the relative velocity here is 0.2, and event position here is equal to 0.1, and the event time here is equal to 0.3. So the controls left panel, so we have the relative velocity here equal to 0.2. So that is the beta. So the speed of a second reference frame relative to yours as a function of c. So currently set to 20 degrees of light speed. So event position here, x equal to 0.1, and event time equal to 0.3. So this phase a single event on diagram plotted as the red dot labeled event P here. So this one. So the fixed element here, the right panel, so axis horizontal, so space X here, and we have the vertical time T in your rest frames. So orange dashed line here, the light cone. So C here is equal to 1 unit, and that is equal to 45 degrees. So exactly the boundary we have been discussing. Anything along these lines is a null interval. So anything between them, steeper is a time like here. So anything outside them, slower, shallower is space like. For example, here, for the red event here, P, the x here is equal to 0.1, here. So x equal to 0.1 and the time here is equal to 0.3. So check its interval. So delta is squared equal to negative t squared plus x squared here. So this is equal to negative 0.08. So this is less than 1. So this is a timeline. And visually it's as well inside the cone, closer to the vertical time axis than the 45 line consistent. So because we are using the uh, we use the uh, negative positive convention here. Then for the blue dashed lines here, so this is the interesting part here. So these are the boosted the prime axis, the x prime here, so this one, and we have the t prime here, this one. So the time and space axis as seen by an observer moving at beta equal to point 0.2 relative to you. So this is the visual part pure spatial relativity. So we have the t prime axis here, tilts towards the light cone from the vertical. It's the moving observer's path through time. They're on a word line. It's tilted because from your frame, they are moving at point 2 of the speed of light. Then we have the x prime here. This one, the x prime. So that it tilts towards the light cone from the horizontal, same angle here. So this is the horizontal. So this represents the moving observer's line of simultaneity. So all events they consider to happen at the same time as as their origin. So even though in your frame, these events are clearly spread across different times here. So we have the symmetric tilt. So both axes rotates towards the 45 degrees here. So this is the 45 degrees uh, lined by the same angle. So the angle here is arctangent beta. Is what preserves the light cone. So light must still travel at 45 degrees in both frame. So the cone itself never moves, only the axis measuring it rotates around it. So why this matters? Relativity of simultaneity. So the tilted x prime axis is the visual proof that now is frame dependent. So events that lie along that tilted blue lines are simultaneous for the moving observer, but clearly not simultaneous for you. So they are at different heights on your t axis. Notice the event P is not sitting on the x prime line, meaning even though P happens at t equal to 0.3 in your frame, the moving observer would say it happened at some different t prime and possibly disagree with you about whether P happened before or after some other events. So try this. Uh, if you drag it toward one, so toward the speed of light, you would see a blue T prime and X prime here. Axis both rotate to nearly coincide with the light cone here itself. So this is the geometric picture of why nothing with mass can reach the c here, the speed of light. The moving frames on the axis would degenerate into the null set and uh, Lorentz factor approaches infinity here. So it's said to move the relative velocity here. So this is the relative velocity. The blue lines are orthogonal, but if you make it equal to 0.99, they coincide with the light cone here. But in that light cone, an object with mass m cannot reach the speed of light. So this is the geometric picture of why nothing with mass can reach c. The moving frames on axis would degenerate onto the null lines, and the Lorentz factor here approaches infinity. Now we have a proof here, a proof of why an object with mass m cannot reach the speed of light. So we have a word line of slope beta here. Listen, the one only meets the light cone at the origin. So a word line through the origin with velocity v is the line here. So let's have x equal to uh, beta times the time. So a light cone line through the origin is x equal to t here. This is for the speed of light here. So since set them equal to find intersection points here. So beta t equal to t here. So x equal to beta times time. So x equal to time. So let's equate them. So factor out the t here. So beta minus 1 equal to 0. So since beta is not equal to 1, that's the whole premise. A massive object has beta less than 1 strictly. So the factor beta minus 1 is non-zero. So the only solution is t equal to 0, and hence x equal to 0. So that's it. Uh, the whole proof, the whole proof for straight word lines, the distinct lines through a common point, the origin intersects only at that common point. So unless they are at the same line, since uh, beta is not equal to 1, means the word line is the genuinely different line from x equal to t. So the here exactly 1 point. So the origin itself nowhere else ever, not very close, not in the limit, but algebraically a zero solution elsewhere for any t not equal to 0.